In this video, we're going to talk about QRadar reference data. You can think of reference data as ways to get external data into QRadar for querying purposes. Now there are 5 different types of reference data. We call them data collections. We're going to specifically talk about reference sets in this video and how you use them, create them, add them in the console. In later videos, we'll talk about using the API, the command line. We'll also talk about reference maps, maps of sets, maps of maps, and reference tables. So a lot of material, but let's start with the basics first. Let's jump over to QRadar. And we're going to create a reference set manually. Go to the admin tab. You'll go to reference set management. Add, and we will create one called demo IP. We're just going to make a list of IP addresses that we will use for querying. Think, for example, if you wanted to see all activity surrounded by a couple source IPs, we can create a table and use that in a query to pull all the events correlated with those IPs. You'll see here type. We can specify a few different types. Obviously we want IP. Create. So at this point we have created a reference set. It has no data in it. Let's cover that next. I'm going to find my newly created data set. Double click. As you can see, it has no data. We have a couple different ways we can manually add the data. I've just pasted in a couple IP addresses. I'm going to explicitly tell QRadar to separate them with a space. And there we go. Let's create another reference set. This time we'll use usernames. And think about a scenario where you might have victims of a phishing campaign. You want to export out a list of usernames and bounce those against events in QRadar looking for bad activity. We can easily do that with a reference set. I've created a new one called demo username, leaving it as alphanumeric. Let it live forever. It's created. Find my newly created reference set, and this time instead of manually adding, we're going to import. And I'll show you. It's a simple, it's a CSV, but there's only one field in it. But we'll import that. And there they are. So at this point, we have 2 different ways we've created and populated reference sets. Next, we'll see how to use the data. In order to use our reference sets, we will need to go and write a query for them. I'm going back to log activity, and let's click advanced search. And it all depends on this function right here, reference set contains. So basically what you do is you pass to this function the name of your reference set and the field you're trying to match. I think a demo will help make it more understandable. So in this query, I'm basically saying give me the date time. I'm just formatting it pretty, in a nice way here. The source IP, destination IP, and username from all the events where the username is in our reference set demo username. Let's see what happens. And we have results. Likewise, for the IP, we can do very similar. The name of the reference set was demo IP, and we're going to have it match up on source IP. Excellent. We have data. That is how you create, add data, and use reference sets in QRadar console.